The goal of this group project is to define Western civilization. More precisely, the aim of the project is to answer the question, what are the defining characteristics of Western civilization? Before even speaking about the culture of the Western civilization, first we need to distinguish the difference between a culture and a civilization. Civilization defines a bigger aspect, whereas culture is part of the complex construction of a civilization. In the case of Western civilization, it contains more than one cult. To begin with, I will define what civilization is. It is the stage of human social development and organization that is considered most advanced, as in, they equated the railroad with progress and civilization. Throughout the video, I'm going to take you on a journey throughout time in the means of location, people, religion, and government as different aspects of civilization. The Stone Age was a broad prehistoric period during which stone was widely used to make implements with an edge, a point, or a percussion surface. The period lasted roughly 3.4 million years and ended between 8700 BC and 2000 BC, with the advent of metalworking. During the Stone Age, they developed a spoken language, bone, wood, and stone tools, the control of fire, mythic religions to explain the nature of birth, sickness, and death, burial practices, and artistic representations of animals on cave walls. The habitat of the earliest version of the modern human, or Homo erectus, was around the northeastern Africa. These early humans were able to survive and hunt in the grasslands and savannas of this region using makeshift tools of stone. Slowly, the Homo sapiens spread throughout Africa and towards Mesopotamia for the rise of civilization. The rise of civilization began with the Sumerians in Mesopotamia due to a number of advancements such as writing and farming. Writing and farming allowed for people to become specialized in other areas like building, weapon making, military duties, religion, and other disciplines of new technology to further advance the civilized world. During this time, it was also the time of the Greek civilization, which consisted of stories belonging to the gods and heroes. The main Greek gods were the 7 Olympians: Zeus, his wife Hera, Poseidon, Ares, Hermes, Hephaestus, Aphrodite, Athena, Apollo, Artemis, Demeter, and Hades. They conducted sacrifices to the gods, and Greek religion placed little emphasis on ethical conduct. It was also the time of the birth of the Olympic Games, held in Athens, where naked Greeks athletes would run around entertaining the crowd. Multiple civilizations like this developed and prospered in the area, and soon these civilizations developed into empires. The goal of the empire was to conquer land and people to grow. The constant conquering caused civilization to quickly spread to nearby areas such as Egypt and the eastern coast of the Mediterranean Sea. The large empires such as the Persians and the Greeks continued to expand civilization in the region. In order to expand their empires, the Roman Empire expanded to basically the entire area surrounding the Mediterranean Sea as well as England. Arguably, it was the largest empire of all time. To the Romans, religion was a less spiritual experience than a contractual relationship between mankind and the forces which were believed to control people's existence and well-being. Judaism and Christianity, while posing separate threats to the empire, had one thing in common. They both refused to participate in the worship of the Roman gods and make sacrifices at their temples. After the fall of the Roman Empire came the Dark Ages, a time when the area mostly consisted of small, localized feudal societies. The Dark Ages is a historical periodization traditionally referring to the Middle Ages. It emphasizes the demographic culture and economic deterioration that supposedly occurred in Western Europe following the decline of the Roman Empire, and a relative scarcity of written records from the period. We do know that the Roman Catholic Church were prominent throughout the Middle Ages. It is common to talk about the Dark Ages as a time of backwardness, and a time where progression of civilization was put on hold. This is partly due to the prominence of small societies in the Dark Ages significantly slowed the spread of Western civilization for the entirety of that time period. The Modern Era is a global time frame after the Middle Ages and can be further broken down into 2 periods. The early modern era began approximately in the early 16th century. Notable historians' milestones include the European Renaissance and the Age of Discovery. The late modern period began approximately in the 18th century Notable historical milestones include the French Revolution, American Revolution, the Industrial Revolution, and the Great Divergence. It took all of human history up to 1804 for the world's population to reach 1 billion. The next billion came just over a century after that, in 1927. During the early modern age, Western civilization was focused mainly in Western Europe. During this time, Western Europe saw great advancement in both arts and science, some of which helped Western civilization expand even further west. With the development of large ships, many Europeans migrated to the newly discovered Americas. After a start-up period, aided by the British, America soon became the pinnacle of Western civilization. From this movement and development in technology, we have discovered the whole world in a sense and have made it smaller. Globalization has become the very essence of our modern lives, and we strive to make our advances with technology to allow communication and access to information easier, quicker, and simpler. Looking forward, civilization is going to continue to grow and continue to advance, making the world seem smaller and smaller. With rising birth rates and the increased efficiency of technology,